Hello and welcome to my latest weekly video update on all the property news affecting the country and Tunbridge Wells at the moment. I have returned for a week's holiday skiing in the French Alps, which was intense. The last few years, no snow. This year, oh my gosh, so much snow, avalanche risk everywhere, and obviously some dreadful stories hitting the news. So thoughts to those families there. It was intense skiing, there's no doubt about it. But I have returned to a very, very busy office. We often joke in the office that I should go away more often. Often because when I come back, loads and loads of offers. So Karen, my kind of number two, my deputy, she managed 16 offers in my absence last week, many on my properties, some on her properties. And we've got a really good traction of sales agreed. I've got a few of those still being negotiated. I'm expecting one possibly go to sealed bids. So the market certainly feels like it's alive and kicking, and that is definitely the message from the wider country picture as well. So what is the market up to generally at the moment? Well, interestingly, there's been a huge surge in valuations and buyer activity. So the big portals, Rightmove, On the Market, Zoopla, they are all recording a huge uplift in the number of buyers registering and also a huge uplift in the number of valuations being requested. So that's always a really good early indicator of what the market's going to be up. Still thoughts that it remains a buyer's market though in terms of when those properties actually come to market. And do remember, the portals can make us all feel like we're a bit of an expert on what is happening on the property market. I get told all the time, I should be an estate agent. I'm on the portals all the time. The point is they only show you step one of the process, which is basically a property listing and going to market. What you do not see is what then happens after that. Did you know that nationally about half of the properties that are listed only go on to sell? So that's 50% that don't. In Tunbridge Wells, we're slightly worse than that. 46% of the properties that you will see go on to Rightmove actually go on to sell. And that's often because of sellers changing their mind, chains collapsing and sellers getting really hacked off, not getting their price expectations that sellers are hoping to achieve, all sorts of reasons. So what you're not seeing when you look at Rightmove is all those conversations that are happening behind the scenes, review calls that I might be having with my sellers, offer discussions where we're getting lots of low offers, clear evidence that the property is not worth what people might have thought it was going to achieve. You might have an offer on a property that's really, really strong, but it hasn't gone sale agreed because that buyer can't proceed yet. So there's a whole raft of stuff that's happening behind the scenes. So although you've got that really positive activity happening up front with buyers and valuations going on, you still need to be careful and cautious with your pricing. Year on year prices are up about 1%, but in January it was a good reverse actually. Sorry, 0.3% in January, which reversed the downward trend of December of last year. December last year was a really, really lackluster month. So yeah, generally all good. New listings up 81% on the 10-year average for January, and the highest January seen in 10 years actually. So those are all great indicators, but please remain cautious. Don't be obsessed about what the portals are doing. Always take the advice of your agent of what's actually going on behind the scenes, because it will serve you well if you're planning to sell in the spring. And if you are thinking of selling in this spring, then we would love to chat to you before you potentially get all those end changes to take your property to market. It's a part of the job that I absolutely love, and my team are the same. We pride ourselves on giving really proactive advice. So you might be thinking, oh, I've got to do job X, Y, and Z, and we might say, no, do job ABC, because we know what your buyers are going to look at and focus on and what they won't interestingly see. So if you are thinking that you need to do some changes to your property before you take it to market, get an agent out. We'd love it if it was us, and we'll give you advice to mean that you have the best result timed correctly with a real formulated marketing plan, how to achieve the best result from your property sale. Of course, it's all about making money for the government in the world of property sales, and tax receipts have been huge, record figures, huge surge recorded in property taxation figures, largely coming from IHT and capital gains tax. So in October 2024, there was a tightening of all the CGT rates, both in terms of the rates that were paid. They increased across both the basic and the higher rate, and the personal allowance reduced. So in January this year, a 69% increase on January last year, with a record 17 billion taken in capital gains tax. Of course, most people's principal private residences don't apply to capital gains tax. That's only for second properties, investment properties, holiday homes, etc. that you might own. And IHT, obviously, with rising property values, a lot of people falling into those IHT brackets. So IHT was at 7.1 billion for the last financial year, from April 2025 to January 2026 to date. So it obviously will increase up 100 million on previous years. So huge surges there, and lots of calls that stamp duty should be looked at to ease the rates that are paid there. If you'd like to know specifically what's going on in the Tunbridge Wells market, then the latest copy of the business is out, and on page 58 there I am talking about confidence rebuilding in the local housing market, and I talk about what's going on in Tunbridge Wells specifically. So Tunbridge Wells generally does well against the southeast. We've got a higher than average property sale, and the properties that are still really winning and doing well are semi-detaches and detached properties. Next week, I'm going to bring you my usual full update on what the Tunbridge Wells property market has been up to. But if for now you want to have a bit of a scan, then page 58 of the business, which I think is an excellent publication, actually, do dive into that. I hope that you have had a nice half term. I'm still getting my back into the swing of it, and I'll look forward to bringing you another update next week at the same time. Bye-bye.